Good morning. Welcome to Air Cool Performance. My name is Wayne Calderaro. I am the Harley Doctor. Today we're going to continue on our video series of repair on this 2010 110 Screaming Eagle CVO. This bike is a beautiful motorcycle, but what happened is the front cam bearing decided to go south, and when it did, it spit some of its bearings out because those are inferior bearings that are installed from the factory, just saying. And so anyway, when it did that, of course, it trashed the cams, it trashed the tappets, and it also messed up the oil pump, embedded a lot of hard metal into the pump. So anyway, we were able to pull everything apart, and we were able to flush the cases out and the cam plate and all real good. And we didn't find any serious debris other than what was absolutely damaged physically, as you could see. So there was, what I mean by that is there was nothing floating around. It was caught just in time. So anyway, so we've gone back with that. We've got the new cams, the new Screaming Eagle 255s. We've got a high performance, high pressure, high volume oil pump. And again, let me talk about, I've had people ask me about that. I can remember back in the day, man, I'd be going down the interstate and I'd pull off exit ramp, old panhead or whatever. And man, oil light flicker, you know, stuff like that. You give it a little bit of gas, it go away. Harley, the oil light comes on at around 3 to 5 pounds because they're not a high pressure required engine. The pressure that you need in a modern engine is because modern engines in automobiles, for example, are of a flat bearing design, around the crank, the cam, whatever. So you need pressure because there is a gap between the bearing material and the crank, for example, and that gap has to be filled with oil as a cushion, and it's held there in that cushion by oil pressure. Now, a Harley Davidson does not have flat bearings. It has roller bearings, needle bearings, ball bearings, you know what I'm saying? So there's no way that any of those bearings are going to retain oil pressure. So what they need is oil volume. That helps lube it and cool it more than you can imagine. And so that's the deal with that. Now, we do have a higher pressure pump in here now and a high volume pump in here now. And that's going to help a whole lot. But as far as pressure, on a Harley Davidson, you need volume a whole lot more than you need pressure. If you've got enough pressure to keep your lifters quiet, you're going to be okay. So there's that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our new tappets in. And before we put our new tappets in, we need to look right here, and there's this oil hole. And we need to fill this tappet with oil. Some people put them like a jar of oil overnight, or they have this deal with a air hose on it or whatever. I find that the best way to do this is to take a good old United States of America made metal oil can. And you can see I've done enough of these that I've got this position just for this job. And I find that oil hole right there. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to pump oil into that. Now you wait now. You see that oil coming out? That lets me know, and I'll drop some of that excess over there. That lets me know that I've got all the air out of this chamber in here. There's about 1/4 of an inch chamber in here that fills up with oil, and that's where your hydraulic tappet does its deal. So, when it comes from the factory or whatever, there's air in there. Now you could put these in there and you can make your adjustment and all like that. And then whenever you go to turn it over, a lot of times, man, it'll sound like it's going to beat itself to death. And so I always like to do stuff, like I said, I check stuff in real world type deal. So whenever I set my valves, I know in a normal real world situation when this motor's running out here, this tappet's going to be full of oil. So I want to fill it full of oil so when I make my tappet adjustment, it's the same now as it's going to be when she's going up and down the road. That's what you want. All right, so now, armed with that, now that we've got this tappet, full of oil, we're going to put it in the bike. Now, this oil hole right here, in a previous video, I think when somebody had been in here before, either way, it'll oil, okay? But the factory right way is with your oil hose pointing in. And when we took it apart, there was one that way, and then there was one turned the wrong way. And so you got your oil hole, because here's the deal. The oil that feeds in toward the cam chest comes from where? From the inside part of this, actually this port right here, into the side of the cavity of the engine case. So you want this facing where the oil's going to be. However, in the tappet bores where this goes down, it doesn't line up with that hole. The feed port is over here on the back. That's how they're made. And so that's why either way you turn it, it will probably run okay, but this is the correct way with your oil holes facing in. And if you'll notice, there are flats on this tappet, one here and one here. So you've got a 50-50 shot of getting it right. That's their way, or you could turn it that way. Either way you turn it, your roller will be in line with your cam, but you want your feed hole to be facing inboard, okay? All right, so we're going to put this one in. Make sure we got the oil hole facing the right way. Yeah. Let me get a camera to where you can see how that's going in. All right, again, we're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and just get all the tappets full of oil. All right, there's that. All right. It don't take much. Like I said, there's only about 1/4 of an inch cavity in there that you have to fill up. All right, there we go. All right, so we got all our tappets purged of the air and ready to go in their prospective bores. Now, if you notice, I showed you, there's flats on this tappet. The reason why there's flats on this tappet is because these are called anti-rotational pins. So when you put this pin in your lifter block area, after you have your tappet in there correctly, it keeps it from turning, because you would not want this tappet where you see the rollers this way. If you wouldn't want it this way and the cam's running with it, and all of a sudden turn it that way and the cam hit it. That would be sad singing and slow walking. And so anyway, we've got the, let me turn the camera around where you can see where, and we'll go ahead and put these tappets in. Just bear with me a minute. Let's see. Right there, okay. So again, here we have our tappets been purged. There's our oil hole. You can see that. So we're going to make sure that our oil hole is facing in. We want our roller to be in line with the cams. So that's going to be just like so. We're going to put him in here. Look at that. Slicker than a minnow. Okay, so then same thing over here. We're going to check, make sure our oil hole's good. And we're going to go over here to this side. Make sure our roller's running the correct way. Always double check that, because sometimes something can look one way and get turned on you. Always double check your double check. So here is the oil hole. There's our roller. We want the oil hole in. We want the roller in line like so. And we're going to put him in here like that. So now, the next order of business is, here's our anti-rotational pins. And they go in this area right here, this little trough area, to where the flats of the tappets will be able to register on them, just like so. Now, that thing turned a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that or not. And sometimes that happens. So we're going to check and make sure that it didn't turn the oil hole the wrong way on us. Nope, we're still good. Because when it came down, when I was putting that pin in there, it looked like it moved a little bit. So always double check. Always, always, always. So now, then we're going to go over here to this side, and we're going to put our pins in over there. All right, so now we have our tappets in, excuse me, and our anti-rotational pins. Now, if we're looking at this right here, what is this telling you? What is this telling you when you're looking at that? This is saying right now that the exhaust valve is being opened because this tappet is coming up, okay? And when we get ready to do the valve adjustment, we'll make sure we're going to see and get these two here on what they call overlap, where they're rocking. And when they're like that, then we can adjust these two. And I'd say it's very close. You can see how flat those are right there. So this is very close to adjusting the back cylinder. So now let's move on to the next thing here. And what we've got to do when the pushrod kit comes, it has pretty much everything you need, with the exception of a couple of parts from your original pushrod tubes. This is the original Harley pushrod tube, so we don't need this, and we don't need this. What we do need is this collar, this spring, and this flat washer. And what we're going to do, I've already built 3 of the, just to get that done. But I saved one to show you how that works. So we can get this here. All right, so this is how it comes right out of the box from S&S. So we're going to take this off. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to take our collar and we're going to put our collar on. Then we're going to take our spring and we're going to put our spring on. Then we're going to take this little bitty thin washer here and put it on like so. Now, in the kit from S&S, there is 3, that you've got 4 O-rings in 3 different places. And that's in the tappet block, in the head, and in the center of the pushrod tube. So S&S provides all of those. Now, this one right here, this thin one, give you an idea of the difference. This thick one, this is for the pushrod. This goes in the head. Okay. Now, this right here, this goes in the pushrod. Let me get back here and see. This goes in the pushrod, and this goes in the tappet block. And this is what your tappet block looks like right here. And I think that's a front one. Yep, that's a front one. And when you go to put this O-ring in, you can see there's a lip, a little lip there. So you just want to get that and press that down into there like so, to where it sits good and flush and it's not rolled. And then once you do that, then we're going to take our pushrod assembly, tube assembly that we've got. We've got our collar and our spring, washer, and now put a little bit of oil on your fingers and put this O-ring on. Make sure that when you put it on, you don't cut it on this sharp edge. So you get that on there to where we're looking, we're separated. Get it to where we're looking like this. So then you take this part of the new S&S pushrod tube, place it on there, and there you got it. There it is. There's your pushrod tube cover, ready to be installed. So now the next order of business is your gaskets for your tappet blocks. If you see these 2 little fingers right here, when you put these on your tappet block areas, these 2 fingers will go over that anti-rotational bar that we saw earlier, okay? So when you put the gasket on, it's unidirectional. You can put it on the back one or the front one. You just want to make sure that these 2 little legs are going over the anti-rotation pin, okay? You'll have to, because if not, your push rods will hit that and you won't be able to adjust your valve. But anyway, so that's how that goes there. And then S&S also provides these top clips, and it's got the neat little screwdriver indentations in there for you for that. And so that's pretty much where we're at. Now we'll be ready to, in the next video, I'm going to put I'm going to show you the push rods. These are the S&S Quickie push rods. See that? You're able to put it inside the push rod tube, let go of it, and then as you turn this, it will get to where it has a thread. Now you're adjusting your push rod. Once you get it set where you need to, you take the jam nut, tighten it up. It's the neatest thing ever. I mean, and this is good quality stuff, man. This thing's tougher than Chinese arithmetic. It's hard metal, but it's lightweight. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to getting this pig going. And so the next video, I'm going to show you how to adjust these push rods. These S&S are a 32 thread per inch set up. There's different thread per inch on different manufacturers of adjustable push rods. So with these right here, we're going to come down, and if you remember now, we pumped up those tappets. So those tappets are just like they're going to be whenever we're ready to hit the button and go down the road. So when we get ready to adjust these valves, we'll be able to come in there and we'll get a real life fit. And S&S says 4 turns. I go between 3.5 and 4 turns is what I normally do. But the instructions, I think, say 4. I have to look at them, I don't know. But either way, it'll do just fine. And these are really good products. These S&S products are really good stuff. All right, well, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, the next video would be where we're actually installing and adjusting these adjustable S&S push rods. And after that, then we'll go over everything again and make sure everything is good, make sure it rotates full, and not just one time. You want to rotate it several times, make sure everything's good, there's no noises, nothing's out of place. It takes a little more time, but trust me, you'll be much happier with your pig when you do that. And somebody asked me, the oil I use in my can to pump up the lifters is regular Harley 2050, not synthetic, regular 2050 oil. I have some theories on synthetic oils and stuff. I think they tend to be too slick, especially in a new motor that hasn't broke in well. You know, like in the old days, you know, the true test of a good top end rebuild was a good cross hatch in your cylinder bore, and that gives the rings something to bite, so where they can seal up, set up, be good. But I have seen where what we've determined was it was so slick that the bearing, in this particular case was a bearing, it was so slick that the bearing didn't roll, it just skated around. And once it got enough material in it, it acted like a milling machine. And I've heard 2 or 3 people, I've only seen that one time, but I've had 2 or 3 people tell me a similar incident, you know, and that. So anyway, I use regular 2050 straight oil, Harley oil, when I do the pump ups and stuff. I don't have a break-in oil per se. I just use regular Harley stuff. My dad used to say, if you always use Harley brand oil, you'll never have an oil-related issue, and that's been pretty much the truth. I mean, you can abuse anything, but I'm talking about an oil-related issue. So we tend to stick with actual product as much as we can. If not, we use a company called Lucas. Lucas is good stuff, okay? And we use that. And also, it depends on what the customer wants. I've had sons, they want Mobile One, they want whatever. So, but anyway, again, thanks for watching. And please like and subscribe. And we're going to have a whole lot of content coming your way, especially with wintertime coming on. We got a lot of stuff in store. So thank you again. And as always, please make God part of your day. You'll be so glad you did. Thank you. Love you. See you later.